Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2025 release Dark Match. It's a Shudder original and it's coming to Shudder on Friday, January 31st. So this is a no spoiler review. Now this is a wrestling horror film, just so people know. For the people who maybe haven't seen the trailer. People who have seen the trailer, it's very clear. This is a wrestling horror movie. So I was trying to think and I'm like, have I ever seen something like this before? And yes, I have. A film called Monster Brawl that was done at least 10 years ago at this point, probably longer ago. And I remember actually having a pretty fun time with that. I would honestly say, not tipping my hat too much this early, but I would recommend checking out Monster Brawl over this film, but some people may enjoy this one. We'll see. Anyway, this one is written and directed by Lowell Dean, who did films like Wolf Cop, Another Wolf Cop, Dark Match. Oh, I literally didn't need to do that. And Die Alone. So I did like Die Alone. I would say, Wolf Cop. I don't think I saw Another Wolf Cop, but I liked Wolf Cop. I liked Die Alone. That one just came out last year. So Lowell Dean's still doing some work here. It's a Canadian film. Again, Shudder original, coming Friday, January 31st. Synopsis. It's about a low-grade wrestling company that ends up getting an offer to go to do some matches, have an event at this kind of secluded place that feels off. And I don't want to give you too much information past that because it's horror. You know, it's like wrestling and horror. And I don't want to spoil the surprises if this is a film that you want to check out. Because like I said, there may very well be some people out there who like this. Just don't have any idea that, oh, it's going to be a really good film. Because, just the concept alone should tell you it's not going to be like a good film or like a heartfelt film or like a heavy on story film, because it's not it in the least. They get to the wrestling immediately, so that's a plus. They deliver on something that was already promised in the trailer and in all the material that's gone out ahead of this film coming out. I don't care for their lighting choices here. They went with a lot of like monocolor lighting, so it'd be like entire scenes that are done just in red, just in blue, just in green. I hate that because you can't see a lot of detail about, the set or the costuming, and it just feels blah to me. And I just really question that choice here, and I think it doesn't work very well at all. It doesn't work very well at all. I think they were trying to kind of do something kind of clever with like mirroring aspects of the film with the colors in certain scenes, but you don't need it for a wrestling horror movie. Like, it's trying to do a little bit too much, and I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. The characters seem pretty basic, and the performances are solid. There isn't bad acting in this. Actually, I'm going to be honest, probably the worst performance for me in this film was Chris Jericho. And you would think, like, he's had so many years of, like, actually being a wrestler. Like, decades at this point of actually being a wrestler. And this is the performance he gives in this. I don't know if he just wasn't feeling it or what. I don't know. But his performance bothered me the most in this. I felt like everyone else did a pretty solid job. There isn't much story, but they try to add some story amongst a few of the characters, which honestly, going into a film like this, I was kind of expecting them to just be like, there is no story. Kind of more like what I was talking about with Monster Brawl. That one was very much like, you're going to get backstories on some of these characters that are just stupid and ridiculous, and then we're wrestling, and we're not going to try and give you much of any story. I kind of felt like it would be like that, and I kind of felt like it should have been like that, honestly, because look, we all know what we're getting into. The matches have different wrinkles to them in this, which I did like that aspect of. It's this whole thing of like, okay, what's going to be next? Although you will spot a certain motif that they're going with. So some of that stuff you may be able to kind of predict early, unfortunately. But that's interesting. There is some gore, but the deaths suck. They're terrible kills in this for the most part. There's like one kill that's okay-ish, but there's an okay amount of blood. It's just the kills are very uninteresting. And for a film like this, where all you're promising is horror and wrestling, and the story's barely there, and it's not, what story is there isn't that good, come on. You got to get way more interesting with the kills. You got to go much bigger with the practical effects, with the gore. Just make it over the top, make it ridiculous, make it fun. I don't know, and they just don't. Like, the kills just suck in this, and it just, I was very let down by that. The dialogue also is not great. Some pretty cringy dialogue from time to time, some okay dialogue, but for the most part, it's a very mixed bag. The pacing is not very good for what this film is supposed to be. Just show us more wrestling or more gore or both of those things. Actually, ideally, both of those things at the same time. And they just have way less of that than you need. Or, sorry, way less of that than you should have. That is what we needed. Music choices for this are very odd because they're all over the place with the music choices. I felt like they needed to stick in one certain realm and kind of continue throughout. And it's just so, it's a mishmash of stuff. And it just feels weird. And you're just like, what is this? Yeah. Such is the entire film, to be honest. The ending ends up being pretty flat, unfortunately. But then it actually works up to something kind of interesting. And then they just cut it. I was like, okay, you have a flat, not exciting ending. Then you throw something kind of cool and interesting at the very end. Let's see where this goes. And then done. Credits. And I was like, oh my gosh. As if I couldn't have been more disappointed. Like, that was probably the number one thing they could have done to disappoint me more at that point. Again, I would just recommend watching Monster Brawl. If you can find that film anywhere, watch that one. Because it's just fun. It's dumb fun. Anyway, out of 5 stars, half stars, and play, I'm giving this a 1.5 star rating. I take no enjoyment in giving ratings like that to films. It's just, it's such a mix of things. It kind of felt like it never really stuck what it needs to be. Because like I said, it's got to be either a lot of fun wrestling, and the way they shot the wrestling was solid, but there needed to be a lot more of that. It needed to go heavier on the practical effects. If you're going to be ridiculous and over the top, like, really commit to that. And they didn't. It felt like they were trying to be a little too serious at times as well. And it just didn't work, unfortunately. I wanted to like this. I went into this thinking maybe it'll be something like Monster Brawl, because I remember just having a fun time with Monster Brawl, and that's all I was hoping for. And it just wasn't fun enough. Like, yeah, there are some fun moments. It just wasn't enough for me. But would love to hear other people's opinions, especially if you liked it. You know, let me know why you did like it, and we can talk in the comments. We can do spoilers in the comments. That's totally fine. Do me a favor here. If you like this video or any video I've ever done, hit the subscribe to let me know that you support me. If you want to pitch in monetarily, that is greatly appreciated. I do have a link in the description that tells you what nominal fee you could give each month for whatever perks. And, you know, you can even just do a month if you want to. Watch some videos early, because I actually schedule out like sometimes 2 months ahead of time, and then just, you know, cancel it. But that's up to you. Anyway, also, yeah, thumbs up on this would be helpful, and notification bell button if you want to know when I'm putting up new videos. All that jazz. But regardless, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. I do appreciate that. It still kind of blows my mind that people actually will sit and watch me talk, or at least do things around the house and listen to me talk about stuff like this. So it's humbling. But thank you so much. Until next time, keep it brutal.